Mr. Chairman, I want to thank you and the Dean of the House for bringing an extraordinary panel before us, raising critical issue. The language is in the House version of the NDAA should give the Department of Defense a swift kick to deal with the Arctic Ocean. You're quite correct, Mr. Chairman, when you said that the Navy has no interest. Yesterday's meeting that Mr. Graves put together was shocking in that the Navy simply has abandoned the Arctic Ocean, other than submarines. No surface interest at all. And if I'm wrong, I'm ready to have the Navy come and tell me that I'm wrong in my assessment of yesterday's meeting. I think my question is one that I don't expect a response, but I would like it in writing. First of all, the Coast Guard will, with the passage of the NDAA, and I hope before the NDAA, work with the Navy on developing the answer to the requirement that there be a strategy. And I asked the Navy yesterday to proceed ahead of the law to get on with the question. So my issue really goes to the other witnesses here, and that is each of you have made recommendations. I don't expect the Department of Defense, since they totally ignored the Arctic in the National Defense Strategy, to come up anytime soon with a proposal, but each of you have made recommendations. When taken together, you have, in fact, developed at least a major part of an Arctic strategy. And so I would ask each of you to put an estimate of the cost of your recommendations together with the recommendations. You can simply submit the recommendations and add another paragraph, another sentence. This strategy to map the coast requires X personnel, equipment, and the cost is about this amount. I think this committee is, and certainly under the chairman and his staff and my staff, ready to develop an Arctic strategy since the whole of government has ignored it. And I think we're ready to do that in the various opportunities we have in appropriations as well as in authorization. So if you would do that for us, it would then, I think, lead to at least a major part of it. The Coast Guard is doing much of that, specifically with the icebreakers, but there's more to it than that. And so if the Coast Guard would also carry out putting numbers and personnel and equipment with each of the recommendations that have been put forth today, we'll be along the way. With regard to the U.S. Navy, there are those of us that are on the Sea Power Subcommittee, two of which are sitting next to each other here, that I suspect will have conversations with the U.S. Navy about its withdrawal from the Arctic Ocean, other than submarines. So I'm going to let it go at that, and so if you would all provide us the information, that'll be the foundation for an Arctic strategy that I think this committee will put together. I thank you. I yield back.
Thank the gentleman. I now recognize the former chairman of the full committee, a man who stands behind you over